so many of the stories around the coins, which is what I really think is the most important part of it. It's not the metal, it's the meaning behind the metal. I've heard, stories about coins that people will carry with them all the time because they represent a moment.
Welcome to Veteran Voices, SITREP, with your hosts, Tom and Chris Faust.
Welcome to Veteran Voices. I am your co-host, Tom Faust. I'm here with my son, Chris. And today we have with us Anna Redmond. She is the founder of BRAV, which is a private security company, and more to the point for this particular podcast, the founder of AllCoin, which is a company building what I believe you described as the first digital challenge coin network.
Absolutely.
And challenge coins have been around for a while for various purposes. And I think what I really want to do is let you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, how you got interested in the challenge coins, and where we might be going from here.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. It's a little bit of a fish out of water story. I am not a veteran, did not have experience as a first responder. But about 6 years ago, I became really interested in the problems that people face with security on the consumer side. And prior to that, I had background as an investor. I have a degree in economics from Harvard. I worked in venture capital at a couple of different hedge funds. And when I left the investment side, it was to start my own company, which is very different from what I'm running now. It was a business focused on thought leadership and content creation for Fortune 500s. So, coming out of that background, it's around 2020, 2021. And I become, as I'm looking for my next thing, because my previous business, we've exited a portion, transitioned another portion, wound down a part of what we were working on. I just become very aware of the challenges that people face in figuring out their security protocols. And we looked at specifically HR departments, we looked at property managers, some high net worth individuals. And I came into this purely from this vision of like, look, I understand the business problem from the customer side. So I did about 1.5 years worth of research, and I'll tell you, I went from quite literally like having read about police officers in the newspaper and having watched, military personnel on TV. Like that was the extent of my background. So clearly, as you can imagine, came in with a lot of, misconceptions, which thankfully were challenged very early on. But I spent about 1.5 years learning, like building my network, meeting folks who were first responders, in the security space, right? You have a lot of veterans and active duty folks occasionally in the security space. And we went ahead and we launched our product, which grew tremendously through word of mouth, great enthusiasm for what we brought to the table, which was really a fractional chief security officer product that worked really well when there were mid-sized organizations, tech companies, manufacturing, property managers who needed someone with deep security expertise at a highly intelligent consultative level, but did not need a full-time person. So, we start running that business. I'm learning so much. And during that process, I go from, obviously having known zero veterans, zero first responders to being so honored to have a network of exceptional, really mission-driven people who I now consider among my trusted advisors, closest friends. And they begin to give me challenge coins, not at first, but over time, like here, I'd like to give you something. And now, of course, I know that there are over 30 million Americans that have some sort of challenge coin.
Mm.
At the time, I quite literally had no clue what it was. But I could tell, by the way that it was given to me that, gosh, like this is something that has real meaning behind it. So I began to learn about that ecosystem. And the more I learned, the more I loved it. And, I'll tell you, I'm an immigrant. I'm a naturalized citizen in this country. And as I began to hear these stories of how people earn these coins, why they gave them out, why they're gifted, why they're awarded, I just kept coming back to this thought of like, this is why my parents brought me here as a child. Like, this is the best of this country. And the thing that I also kept coming back to was that so many of the stories around the coins, which is what I really think is the most important part of it, right? It's not the metal, it's the meaning behind the metal. Um, were fragile in the sense that they had to be transmitted from person to person. Like you, if I went to your house and I saw your challenge coin wall, it would tell me very little until I asked you the questions, until I said, what
Mm.
year did you get this? Who gave it to you? What happened? Tell me the story. And so I became really interested in like, gosh, can we find a better way, right? Is there a better way to preserve the stories? Is there a better way to tell them? Um, I have another probably 2 hours worth of monologue on this, but I'll pause. But that was how the concept for AllCoin was born.
That was just wanted to check, since you were not familiar with this community, if you will, of veterans, first responders, etc. Um, did you have anything that you really a misunderstanding or misconception about the community before you found out what it's really like?
Oh gosh, I'm sure dozens of misconceptions. Which by the way, I live in Los Angeles. I live in Santa Monica. Not a community where there are a lot of people who have experience, working closely with. I mean, maybe defense industry, but that's a little different.
Hmm.
Um, so I hear misconceptions all the time, and I feel like I spend some of my time sharing stories and kind of correcting. I think what I'll lead with is I truly didn't understand the degree to which people who serve are mission driven, and clearly not everyone is, and it's hard to make generalizations, but I will tell you the overwhelming majority of the folks that I met who had served our country did so out of an abiding conviction that they wanted to be on the front lines defending what they loved. And I really think that that is just not something that is truly viscerally understood by civilians in the purest sense of it, which is like, I will give my body that I only have one of to protect my homeland and the people in it.
Mm.
And I think it's dramatic and it's beautiful and it doesn't get talked about enough. And I heard people articulating variants of that sentiment very earnestly and very easily. Like it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Whereas for me, I think it felt terrifying, right? Like I don't think I have that level of courage. I probably, like as a mother, I would clearly dive in the way of anything having to do with my children. But but beyond that,
Hmm.
it's big, it's hard, it's such a huge sacrifice. So I think that really drove home the meaning of that, and also just really elevated the level of respect that I already had. And it sort of comes back to again what I love about the coins. I think definitely I was very careful. I also learned that folks that transition out of sort of military or first responder roles into security will sometimes feel like they're talked down to by people that don't know security, but feel like they're in like the buyer or leader position. So I did learn very quickly to build relationships from a place of sort of humility.
Mm.
which I like to think I already had that going in. I don't think I'm the type of person to walk into a situation and be like, I know nothing about this, so here's the plan. But but that was something that was interesting to me. Like I didn't know that going in, that they often felt that way.
Do you actually? I'm assuming that you've been, given some challenge coins and everything. Do you remember the first one that was given to you?
I got two in very close succession. One and both were from my advisors. One was from Dave Weiner, and one was from Carlos Francisco. And they were both personal coins that they'd built around their private security practices. And they're lovely coins. And they when they gave them to me, there was, we were in the early phases of relationship building. And they were advising me, and it was both of those were just really nice moments. There was, obviously, and now I've heard various challenge coin stories, some of which are very big and dramatic, but sometimes even the non-dramatic ones are incredibly meaningful to people. I'll give you another example. I have a challenge coin from a company run by a former Navy SEAL, and they do a lot of business training and some events. And so I was at an event for a business group that they were running, kind of incidentally. I think the criterion to be invited was to be within that business community, not in security. And there was sort of like a day at the range and a couple other activities. And I have been shooting, but I'm very bad at it and don't go often. And it's sort of like I improve a little bit and then I sort of drop back down. And so I showed up and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this. But evidently I made enough improvement that at the end of the session, when they gave out challenge coins, which by the way, it was a group of about, I want to say between 40 and 45 people, and they only gave out 5 coins, which kind of stunned me because the general I think the ethos of these types of business events are very participation trophy. So I was like, man, I respect the fact that they brought, only a small handful, gave only a small handful out. And I got one of them not because I did anything great, but because I had a rate of improvement that I guess stood out.
Yeah.
And that one felt really special because it felt, at least on some level earned.
Mhm. So do you think that what makes the coins meaningful is uh, sounds like you're saying not necessarily who gave it to you or when, but the reason that the purpose behind it is really the important part.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I've heard, stories about coins that people will carry with them all the time because they represent a moment, right? A moment where they were truly seen, where they were their best selves. Also coins that represent connection, right? Like a lot of people, I don't know if a lot, but certainly I've talked to a number of people who have coins minted in the aftermath of an event where people they knew lost their lives. Sometimes colleagues, sometimes close friends. And so those are coins that they always hold close to them. So I'm attracted to that layering around the coin and what it means. And then, right, the flip side is I spoke with a Navy SEAL who, shared with me that his SEAL team, I think it was SEAL Team 6 coin. He was like, look, this is like a PhD. This is 8 years of my life that I
Mhm.
invested being able to learn the skills, be good enough to get to this point where I was able to have this coin, where I earned it. So yeah, so I think it's a mix, right? It's a mix, and I'm very curious to hear about from each of you what your favorite coins are. But it's a mix of memory, of meaning, and of connection.
Have you noticed a difference between people who see coins as collectibles and people who see them as memory makers?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and in fact, people have shared kind of those different approaches. In the and by the way, clearly I'm a newcomer to this community, so I'm still learning. So I say these things with a grain of salt. It's just sort of like what I hear. Um, my general observations, it feels like there are definitely police communities where The coins are more relationship builders where you'll work with like, oh, I'm LAPD, I'm coming to Santa Monica, I'm going to bring some coins to share with the folks in Santa Monica, and they're going to sort of give me their coins back. Um, and so those, that's a different kind of slightly different use of coin, although there are clearly police coins
Mm.
that are awarded. And then as far as the collector, like the pure collector who purchases the coins, yeah, absolutely. I think I've talked to folks who will send letters, in the hopes of being gifted a coin. And it really depends, right? Like I heard about a child fighting cancer who's collecting coins, which is a very different kind of collector, right? It's more like inspirational and just like seeking community support, versus the person going on eBay and purchasing coins that they think are meaningful. And I think that's more in the category of like, oh, I have the knife that Napoleon Bonaparte carried into battle, and it's a collectible. And I'm not sure that there's no wrong way to do it, right?
Previous, I think in our pre-interview, you talked about how the coins are durable, but the stories are fragile. And can you give us a better idea of what, I mean, I think I have an idea of what you mean by that, but it'd be best for you to explain it from your point of view for our listeners.
Sure. The number of times that I've talked to people who wish they had preserved the narrative of the coins better, are very numerous. And sometimes it's the individuals who receive the coins, and sometimes it's the families. But we've talked to, World War II veterans who have said, here are coins, and when I'm gone, my family will have no clue what they are. We've talked to podcasts, like veteran podcasts, who tell us that families have donated coins to them because they want them to go to someone who understands the meaning and they might not know all the stories. I've talked to people who have massive challenge coin walls where they'll even admit like, oh, this coin, I wish I could remember the name of the guy that gave it to me, but here are the bits of like what I do recollect. And so hearing all of that, it's what made us most excited to build a platform where you could do, the two things that are available to you. One, take any existing coins that you have, upload them on the platform. It's beautiful. The coins will turn in space from back to front. And you can use that as kind of like your LinkedIn of challenge coins or your digital challenge coin wall. And then the other thing that you can do if you're an issuer of a coin, which I think you guys should issue one. Tom and I chatted about that briefly.
Mhm.
Then you can create a digital twin for your physical coin, and the digital twin can be on the blockchain. And so that adds a whole nother layer of preserving the story because once it's on the blockchain, you guys are in tech, you understand it. I've been describing it shorthand as digital cement. So we've created a wrapper that goes on the public ledger, and you can preserve, the date, the time, the transfer history, who that coin goes to if it changes hands, who it comes from, what the little narrative is around that coin. So if there's a moment for me to do a demo, I'll show you guys one of the first coins we made for one of my advisors who's an active duty Navy SEAL. And he has a Greek inscription on the back of his coin. So he gets to explain why he picked that, what it means to him, what the translation is. So what attracted me was this opportunity to actually build into the coins this additional option to be more closely connected with the gifter. Um, and so far, our early users have loved that element of it.
Okay, so you had mentioned, that you want to turn these coins into, a digital way to have, ways to, remember things that, if you might not have the physical coin there. So kind of walk us through the basic experience. If someone has like a physical challenge coin, what can they do?
Sure. So first of all, this part is always free. So if you're a veteran, first responder, active duty, or challenge coin holder from, CIA, FBI, whatever, some other branch, you can always go and create your digital challenge coin wall. And it's really simple. We've been trying to make it as user friendly as possible. So you sign up for an account, then you click add coin, and it's right in the middle on top. And then a camera pops up, so you can actually go ahead and just hold your, whatever coin you have. You go ahead and hold your coin up, snap a photo, flip it around, snap the other photo. Try to get your fingers out of it.
Mhm.
And we'll strip the background, and then it's really up to you. You can decide, do you remember the date? Do you want to put the date in? Do you remember who gave it to you? What's the information that you'd like to preserve? And then you go ahead and you post it to your wall. And the other cool thing that we've done is if you're looking through our coin library, which is growing speedily by the day as people add more and more coins, you may see coins that you have and someone else uploaded. And as a fun way to both build community and save you time, you're able to go and click request to add so that, Tom and Chris, you guys may actually, do you have any of the same coins?
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
No, huh? Okay. Well, had you had the same coins, you could have sent each other a note, and then basically the other person doesn't have to go through the trouble of uploading it, and it's fun because someone that maybe you had no clue has the same coin. And I also, obviously, stolen valor is a big deal. The
Mm,
blockchain piece of it really fixes it out of the gate because it's impossible to have a blockchain coin uploaded to your account that does not belong to you. With the physical coins, because they're just photos, right? You could conceivably have someone taking a coin and putting it on their profile. And this is kind of our way to say, the community is going to gate check it a little bit because if
mm,
someone's sending you a note saying, hey, I also served, chances are you're probably going to want to do like a little bit of research to figure out is this legitimate or not before you give someone permission to use your coin image that you
mhm.
uploaded. So that's that's how the coin ends up on your profile. One of two ways. You can also, like my kids will tell me I take terrible photos. So they're like, no, you have to take it with a phone and you have to have lighting and background and all of that. So you can have a teenager just take photos of your coins and then you could, upload them that way and email them to yourself. And then it's shareable and you can decide, you can make them private or public. Certainly if you're uploading a coin that for whatever reason at all, you don't feel like making public, you don't have to do that. It can be just for you. And then you can share your page. There's like a simple link and you can put it in your email. You could put it in your on your LinkedIn profile. And then people can go check out your challenge coins.
I was just wondering, can people, like you said, you can upload your own coins there. Can they, and I'm not sure why anybody would want to do this, but can you at least temporarily make it private so nobody else can see it yet?
Oh, and
And
Chris,
then,
you know what? That's a great question. What we've done is you can make the individual coins private. You
Mhm.
can't, we haven't let anyone turn their whole profile private, but maybe you would want to do that. Yeah, like maybe if if you have
Well,
top security clearance, I think you added another feature to our development list. Thank you for that.
okay, yeah, I was actually talking about the coins or your story about the coin. If you're kind of working on it, but you're not ready to publish it yet, let's say, right? That's kind of what I was thinking, just kind of
Oh,
off the
yeah,
cuff.
absolutely. So any coin that you upload, it could be either public or private. So you upload it and then toggle make private, and then nobody sees it but you. And you can go
Mhm.
back in there and you can re-edit your story. You can rephotograph the coin, whatever it is that you want to do.
Mhm.
So for listeners who they might be curious, they might not have checked it out. What would they see if they were looking at someone's digital coin collection?
Yeah, they would see the name of the coin. They'd see the coin sort of flip back and forth, so you could see the front and the back of it when you hover over it. And then they could click through and they could see what the date was that you earned the coin, whatever story you want to put in. And if you're scrolling the coin library, you can actually see all the holders of the coin. And that one's not perfect. We're having an AI go through and match images because if two people upload, the same image of this coin,
Hmm.
we need to match it. But that part's pretty cool, and people really enjoy saying, "Oh my gosh, who has this coin? I want to see who else has it."
And did you have any concerns about opening up comments and in those community notes, in case somebody says something derogatory or that, the owner of the coin does not want shared, whatever it might be.
Yeah, we thought about that. We actually had sort of two competing requests from early users. People did expressly say they wanted comments on the coins, especially if you have, a library or a museum uploading a bunch of coins that they hold. And they wanted to open themselves up to comments because they wanted people to be able to post and say, oh, like my grandfather has this same coin, or, here's more information that you may not have about the minting of this coin or the awarding of it. But at the same time, obviously, anything in a public space that you open up to public comments, you're going to get people that are using it for purposes that are sort of cross purposes to what you want. So our current solve for that is uh, the owner of the physical coin upload can go ahead and block comments at any time. So if someone's writing, F this and whatever they want to write, that can always be taken off. And then obviously we can block users. So if there's a history of a user doing this, and frankly, we're now revising our user policy, but we're thinking of saying like it might be one strike, you're out, honestly. Like we don't want anyone on the platform that's going to be negatively commenting on any of the coins.
Following up on that a little bit, so um, a coin might have you might have the same coin somebody might have, and there might be one story behind it, and then another person might have a different either like context of said story, or a different story and how they came about if it was given at maybe a later time. How do kind of how do you handle that if somebody already uploaded the picture of the coin, it's there, they put their story behind it, and you say, hey, I've got the same coin here.
So what we do there is it's in different sort of coin pages. So if you have the same coin on your page, you can put in your story. We're kind of working out what it'll look like to have kind of the meta coin image. But when it's on your page, it's whatever you've uploaded,
Okay.
right? Because it'll say like you got yours maybe on January 1st, someone else got theirs on December 12th. So that'll change depending on the user that you're looking at. And the thing that we're now doing, which is in process, is we're adding kind of the meta coin on. So, for instance, this coin that I have right here, this is a Navy SEAL coin that one of my advisors gave me. It's not a super uncommon coin. I'm sure lots of people have that one. We would have a meta coin on our site, and then people could add in all of their comments and stories on that one, but they won't all reflect on my personal page.
Okay.
We've talked a bit about the coins and the stories and how these get logged and preserved on the site, which just seems like a great idea.
You.
Would you like to go ahead and share a screen and kind of give us a walkthrough for the people who are watching this on video?
I
And
would
besides,
love to.
besides, that might encourage more of the people who just listen to actually watch the video.
Exactly. I would love to. Okay.
All right.
So you log on, basically you see a news feed. We've been sharing some interesting coin stories that we've been finding and that folks have been giving us permission to share and that have been shared with us. But effectively, I'll share the profile of one of my advisors. This is what a profile looks like. So this is Will's profile. He's Navy SEAL in charge of special warfare recruiting. And he was being kind of having fun putting multiple coins in. The real use case is for one coin, not multiple in a box. But they turn in space, so you kind of hover over it, see the front and the back. And he can take this page and he can share it with anyone that he wants. He has a number of digital coins on here as well. This is his digital coin that he made. I'll go ahead and I'll share what that one looks like.
That's the one you were talking about with the Greek on the background.
Exactly, exactly. So this is his coin. And And actually, first of all, let me show you what a sort of standard coin looks like when you click through, and then I'll show you the difference between that and a blockchain coin. So if say I'm looking for someone who I know put notes on his coins. So this is another advisor. He's a retired chief of police. Here's a digital coin that he received from John Baca, whom he met at a breakfast honoring Vietnam veterans. You could see he got to enter in this information when he acquired it, what the coin story is. He set it to public visibility and it shows you the current owner and then who it was uploaded by. And this is what I meant by you could have a coin that was uploaded by someone else. And then this is where if I had a question about the coin or if I wanted to add my note, I would put it here. And then this is where I would ask to add it. And I could say, I have the same coin, but I'd spell things correctly. And if I sent that, then he'd be able to decide whether or not he shared it with me. Now the digital coins, right? So this is Will's coin. You'll see it has a lot more information. So we have space to embed a video. There's a coin ID. There's a mint number. We were making a test version of this. So the supply is 2. There are only 2 of these, although there are 300 of the physical coins. So we're going to be upping this to 300. And he gets to put in, what the coin story is, right? Why he made the coin, what it means to him, why he wrote what he wrote on the back of it. And then you could see there's a blockchain timestamp, a mint number, and then a transfer history. So if he gave this coin to Chris and Chris gave it to me, you'd be able to track the provenance of that perfectly. And you'd know both that I'm a legitimate owner of it, but you would also know that I did not get it directly from Will. So if I was telling you something to the contrary, that would be super easily verifiable. And then I'll play, maybe the first 15 seconds of his video because we've had a lot of folks enjoying putting together media content for their coins. Oh, there we go. So all of that gives you a little sense of what these videos can be like. And I think then a little further in, we have, an image of him jumping out of it's so interesting. Is that a type of helicopter?
Looks like it's kind of a biplane, really. Like
Yeah, I was thinking it's the kind
there,
that might be able to take off vertically, but then tip the propellers and fly. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that particular aircraft.
We'll go with biplane. That sounds right to me. But then, and then I think towards the end we have a little clip of Will with his kid. Yeah, there we go. Fully kitted out with his kids.
I love the skirts, the navy skirts.
Yeah, those are so adorable. His daughters are really, he has a young son too. All 3 of his kids are adorable. But the point of this and, so this coin was made especially for Will and, he's given it out a handful of times so far, for a variety of reasons as a thank you, as a relationship builder. And one time he gave it out actually, because he was one of the very early volunteer responders during the very tragic Camp Mystic flooding in Texas. And he spent days helping with the recovery efforts, shared that he used everything that he had learned, that it was both emotionally, obviously extraordinarily heavy work, but also challenging, and that he met in that experience a couple of gentlemen who were historians and who dove in and, as soon as it happened, dropped everything and ran to help. And he was very, very moved and inspired and commented something to the effect of like, this is something that I trained for, and they just threw everything down and ran in because of the sort of the human call to help. And so he gave them his coin, I think actually ran into them later after the recovery efforts in their role as historians and sort of meant to be that he saw them again to share his coin. But what I particularly, it's so many things that inspire and awe me about that story. But one of the things I love is that they met him obviously during an extremely stressful, challenging, tragic moment where they probably didn't get a chance to sit down and share a lot of notes of like, hey, who are you? What's your background? And then he handed them the coin, and I think that was kind of, it. But because they were able to go online and kind of check out the digital twin, I like to think it sort of opened the door to them learning more about him and about who he is. And as whatever he ends up doing in the future, he's like pretty incredible, like super entrepreneurial. I keep joking, like maybe one day he'll run for public office. They could keep track of him through this coin. And one of the ways that they can do that is because if you've issued a coin, and this is a BRAV coin that we've issued, as the issuer, you actually get a way to maintain a relationship with everyone you've given it to. So you see the list of people that hold your coin, you see the date that you gave it to them, whether or not they've claimed it, and the coins that we have made are actually now living coins. And I say that because one of the coolest things that we've done is we've added this creator extras, where at any moment that I want, I can actually update the BRAV coin, and I can send a note, saying, we just whatever, we just were featured on Veteran Voices. Check out our episode. Um, and then that gets pushed to every single holder of the coin, which I think is pretty special.
And
So,
that's something that anybody can do, or is that something that like an admin or somebody has to do?
so in terms of minting the coins, we vet for those sorts of opportunities on our site. We have given a couple of organizations an invitation to mint coins. That's the only thing that we do charge for. We have a few spaces for, occasionally we'll give spaces for small nonprofits to do small mints that are complimentary. And we always want to make sure we know the minter, because you have all of this sort of provenance and authenticity baked in, but you need to know who's sending the coin. And what we didn't want is for, some guy in a basement in Ohio to be making coins and saying he's the FBI, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even though, presumably that same guy in Ohio could order a batch of coins from China or India and have them say FBI, but in any case, we wanted to sort of guard our platform from that. So right now, to go to this option, create and mint, you have to ask us for permission, and we have to have a relationship in order for you to do that. But upload coin, anyone can do, and this is sort of what I described. So you would hit take photo, kind of turn your coin over, hold it up, and then capture photo. And as I've said, this is something you'd probably want to do on a phone, but
Mm-hmm.
because that's a terrible photo. But uh, that would be the way that you do that.
Okay.
And
Nice.
and then we've really enjoyed sharing all the coins in our coin library, and this is where people tend to go first when they log on to the platform, and just check it out, and they enjoy seeing, who has what coins.
Mhm. All right. And after we were talking, was it yesterday already? Was it Friday? I always forget. Yeah,
Friday.
time flies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we were talking Friday, you just kind of gave me the idea to, well, maybe I should just go in and have AI design some coins based on what I'd be looking for, which I did. Um,
Amazing.
and I sent some to Chris to take a look at. I've actually made a few changes since that to what I came up with, but um, I could share that if you
I
want
would
to
love
look
to have you
at
share it. Yeah,
seeing that.
let's upload a coin.
Go,
Let's
go
create a
find it
coin
here.
maybe live.
So let me share this screen, which hopefully you can see now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, and I created a few different options. I started out, the first one came out and it put our names on here, and later I decided maybe I don't think we need our names on it, but I kind of like this Veteran Voices SITREP podcast on the front, and then on the back, I started out, the SITREP podcast was on the back, and I've changed it to be like this one here. I think with just podcastveteranvoices.us, so the website is on there.
I
And so
love it.
these two on the right are the ones that I think I like best. What do you guys?
Yeah.
They're very close. I'm skimming all of them. I love the design. Yeah. Let's
But
let's
yeah,
do let's do the last ones.
so these, yeah, so it'd be this one that I just highlighted, and the one below it would be the,
Why don't I approve you for uploading and then I can talk you through creating it?
great.
So
So I am
go to create and mint
create and mint.
and click start vetting, then
Vetting.
scroll to the bottom and click submit vetting request.
All right.
And we're going to add more requirements to the vetting, but right now I talk to everyone that I'm vetting, so
Mhm.
it's not that complicated. So
Okay.
now I get to go ahead and I'm going to go to my admin dashboard and I am going to approve you.
Oh, exciting.
And now if you refresh, you should see a different create and min screen, which lets you upload
Oh, you want me to go back to here?
yeah, there you
Oh, yeah.
go. So now, yeah, members correct. So now all you do is you name the coin, you put in your website instead of ours.
Do I
Uh,
want to say like challenge coin on there like that?
yeah, so it's interesting. Some people have been saying da 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 challenge coin, others have just been putting the name. It doesn't matter. Both
Okay.
work.
So I put my website
Your
name.
website, exactly.
Let's do the podcast. Start like that. Point number
Love
one.
it. The idea is fine, unless you want to start numbering with some other number. Some people have wanted to start numbering with, for whatever
Mm,
reason, they have a different numbering
Hmm.
convention.
yeah, one sounds fine to me.
I agree. So you can decide, by the way, you can, oh yeah, that works. So we've now added a pre-mint state where you're going to see a
Okay.
preview of this before you mint it and it'll save, I think. I'm going to check with last update from our developer. So you can put something here that feels like a placeholder. Supply limit, why don't you go ahead and put, 100. I would suggest putting 10 to start because there's a place where you can increment it.
Oh,
And
okay.
sometimes it
All
takes
right.
it a little longer to create the blockchain envelope. So yeah, you want to keep the background removal. Don't select that one. And then you can go ahead and just click to browse files on upload image.
Does it take drag and drop?
Yeah, it does.
So it wants the front of the coin first.
Yep. Front of the coin first, takes drag and drop, takes cut and paste.
Wonderful. Back with the URL. All right. So there's,
Scroll
um,
down. That looks
I
great.
kind of wish that I would have removed the background, the black background, or is
Well,
that something you
it'll
said you
auto
can?
remove it.
Awesome.
It'll auto
All right.
remove it.
I
So
will not upload a
now,
video yet.
yeah, if you don't have video, no problem, hit preview. Um, that looks lovely to me. It'll remove the background when it mints. So why don't you go ahead and hit create and mint? And this is the part where I'm going to it's okay that it's weird, but it's okay that it showed that image as you know what, I'm going to photograph this for a second because I want.
Mhm. Okay, now
And
enhance my
now,
coins.
so skip for now. So this is if you want to add images or another note, but this is the living coin piece that you
Okay,
can push at any time. So just go ahead and hit skip for now.
all right.
And then there you go. So the background strips within the first 30 to 60 seconds. If you refresh a couple of times,
Okay,
it'll start to show that as being stripped. Yeah, there we go.
there it goes. Yep.
So now hover over it. Actually, go to coins. Right next to collection
Coins.
says
Yep.
coins. So
There we
go
are.
ahead and hover over it.
Oh,
Yep,
look at that.
there you go.
Oh, cool.
So now if you wanted to send that to Chris, you would go to send coins up at the top,
And
I'll need to create an account. I haven't
but
I haven't
he can
well,
logged on
send it to
recently.
your to an external email. So hit
oh,
send to
well, here's the
external
question.
email.
Before I do anything, who gets the first coin?
That's,
You did ask me for the first coin the other
I
day.
did ask you for the first coin. I'm so glad that you remembered.
Uh,
Well, in that case, I think we know the answer to that.
um, yeah, I don't know if am I remembering your.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
right. That's
That
it.
worked.
That's me. Yay! This is very exciting.
Okay. Now, can I do more than one at a time or just
Um,
one at a time?
no, here you would do one at a time, but you have to select me. So you started to type in my email, just
Oh,
select.
I thought, well, I did.
Yeah. And then just take away, go ahead
Oh, I
and
have
take
to
away that.
get rid
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect. And then, Oh, and then you have to pick the coin. So you're sending me the veteran
You
voices
don't want me to
coin.
send you your Brav coin back.
Return to sender. Um,
Uh,
and then you could add a personalized note. Anna, you are amazing. No, just kidding.
uh,
Ooh, love it. And then that note is on the blockchain. So you better, whatever you say to me, you can't take it back, and I will have proof for the rest of your life.
does that
Once it's
does that
digital, it's
sound good
always
to
out
you?
there.
Uh-huh,
You want to be
yeah,
number one? All
that
right.
is exciting. So then you hit send, and now I've got the coin. So now you have 0 coins. And the reason is you made 10. The way that we structured the minting, we didn't have you mint all of them at the same time because that takes
Okay.
resources. So if you want to go mint the next one, you would go to collection and coins at the top, my collection.
My
Yep.
coins or my collections?
Yeah,
Oh,
collection.
there we
It's
go.
a so collection. So see, it says one minted, 9 left to mint.
Sure.
So you would go
Okay.
ahead and from here you'd hit the send button. If you hover over it, you have the first button is
This
the
guy.
send button. Yeah. So what it does is it pops up the same thing. It's already pre-filled in, but you would hit send to external email at the very top.
Okay.
Go up. Yeah.
Um,
Hit that checkbox. And that's where you'd put in Chris's email.
so Chris even gets one before me.
Oh, that's right, because you had one, you sent it to me. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, so I guess you would get the third one.
that's okay.
There's an M in there, Dad.
Do you
There we
like
go.
that better? Okay.
Well,
So
that's how it
then you
gets started.
scroll down and then you hit
Right.
preview.
Review.
Yep. And then send
Hit
mint and
number
send.
2.
Yep.
Okay. Very
Yep.
nice.
Cool.
Well, that was a very interesting demo of how your site works. I'm excited to have our own coin all ready to go, and you get number one. Lucky you.
I'm
And
so excited. Actually, it's already on my page, and I just clicked and dragged it into the first position. So that's
awesome.
the first coin displayed, and I'm hearting it.
Oh, that's
We did.
nice.
Oh, I didn't even show you guys this. So we had a whole thing of people wanted to react to the coins.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially we were like, oh, this is my assumption. I was like, oh, they want to react to the coins. Clearly they can put a heart on them. And then I had a few people tell me, Anna, some of us don't want to put hearts on coins. Can you
Just a
give us
like.
can you give us something else? So we
Mm-hmm.
added, thumbs up, wow emoji, fire emoji.
Okay.
There's a handful of emojis that you now can use to react to the coins. We're not forcing you into hearting.
That's that's awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I just want to thank you then for joining us on here. This has been very informative, and I love the idea of the challenge coins. I may come up with an idea for some others. So I'll have to just see how it goes. Um,
Amazing. You should.
yeah. Oh, Chris is muted, I guess. It looked like you were talking, Chris.
I don't know. I don't know why my microphone wants to do that.
I don't know. Anyway, the question that I had has now slipped my mind.
Well, while you think of it, I can say what I was going to say before I was muted. So going back on, unpausing. Uh, no, I really like the idea of this because one of those things that you had mentioned earlier is that, they might not always remember the story that goes with each coin. But this here gives you a way where you can actually, as you get them or as you remember them and you upload them, you write it down, you put it out there. And then when you pass things along, 2 generations, 3 generations from now, they can go and be like, oh, well, what did this coin mean? And it's right there. Or if you can't recall it, you can just pull it up there and you have that story, which is really good to help pass on memories that, you might not have mentioned at the time, or you might not remember. It's there, which is a really cool feature to this whole digital coin thing. Good, because ultimately that's what these coins are about, is a memory of something that is significant to you, regardless of what it might be for. And yeah, so kudos to you for doing this idea.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a memory and it's human connection, right? I think those are the two pieces that any way we can preserve and uplift them is positive.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I again do want to thank you for being on here with us. I've enjoyed this, and I hope our listeners learn from it and find that they have a way of preserving any challenge coins that they may have received or created for themselves, or maybe give them an idea to create one for a very special purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is just an amazing idea.
Thank you. It's been such a joy to chat with you both. Thank you so much for this awesome podcast, the opportunity. Thank you so much for your service. And to your listeners, I think I just always close with would love to talk to anyone about their challenge coins. It's my favorite topic. I'm always reachable at Anna, ANNA, at BRAV, BRAAV.co. The site is allcoin.brav.co. And if you're interested in being vetted to be a creator, please reach out to me. And we can chat about that. And always looking to talk to organizations that have coins with valuable history. And we're working with a number of them to help upload and store those and preserve those memories. So that's the mission, and delighted to chat with you guys about it.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us here. And as always, to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in, listening to us, watching the video. We appreciate it. If you'd like to subscribe, do everything you need to get the word out there, for just, to pass the information along, because it's good stuff that we want to show people that there are things out there to help with all these. So we just really appreciate the time.